Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone, I should say. Hope we're enjoying our lovely weekend so far. Actually, our first sort of autumn winter, if you don't mind me saying, 1st of March 2026 we are. I certainly did, although not on a sporting level. Had my club cricket game yesterday and we fell short, but nonetheless, it's been a good weekend so far. Here to do a quick review of the practice match, St Kilda versus Essendon at Ballarat Oval, that was yesterday, which clashed with my cricket schedule, unfortunately, but I managed to record it and see the highlights. And it was a wonderful game, though it was a practice game. But before I get into that further, I would like to introduce you to my tutoring school, which I do at the start of every recording channel. Okay, it's called the Roki School of Excellence, as you can see in that logo, the blue. Okay, it's a tutoring school where basically, it's an academic tutoring school, I should say, where basically we offer services, so group services, group classes for mathematics ranging years 5 to 12, except specialist maths, and as well as teaching Western drums, South Indian classical drums, and also octopad, which is an electronic percussion instrument. So enrollments are open throughout the year, guys. If you have a child, or if you have any friends, family, or loved ones who might be interested, or their friends who might be interested, please do ask them to contact me. We do look after the enrollments. So my wife looks after the admin and the enrollment side of things, and welcomes the prospective students into my school. I look after the class syllabus and the fees, or the fees or the payment side of things. Okay, so jump on board if you're interested. We'll be glad to have you. Okay, now onto the main content of this channel. It was a great game, absolutely lovely game yesterday. Not because the Saints won, but just the way they went about it. Managed to come home and I had some time to see the highlights. So what I wanted to talk about is take you through the web page here. Okay, so as you can see, it was a summary. This provides a summary on the St Kilda website about the win. Okay, I really thought it was a good contribution, overall contribution from everyone. One thing though, it might have been looked like was it was very Nasaya Wanganeen Malera centric game. I disagree with that. I don't think it was. Yes, because he was all over the ground and he kicked 4 goals, but I thought it was a pretty good contribution by everybody else who followed. What about Jack Higgins' 4 goals? What about Charlie Banfield bobbed up with 1, Cooper Sharman with a couple, Liam Ryan as well, and Tom De Koning's ruck work was simply excellent yesterday. He had no big hassle. And also, Ron Marshall's support up the forward line was good. Hugh Boxall was really, really good. Really showed that, hey, he's ready to go next level. And then Corey Enright's press conference. But I thought it was all in all a very pleasing performance. Fair, even amount of contributors across the ground. So no regrets there. And if you see here, Naz kicked 4, Higgins kicked 3, Marshall kicked 2, Owens kicked 2, Stocker, McRae, Garcia, Sharman, Ryan and Banfield. So you can see it's quite well distributed, though Nasai, Wanganeen, Malera was the pick of the goal kickers. Okay, a fantastic team performance all round, and I suppose it gives us some belief heading into the real deal season starting next week against Collingwood. Okay, overall I thought what really got us over the line was our pressure. Our pressure was excellent. Even when we fumbled, we found ways to retrieve the ball. I mean, you'll see all this in the highlights, and they really backed up one another. One player fumbled with the ball, there was always somebody to retrieve it. Okay, and that was the real pleasing part of this whole game. There was no dropping of heads. Like, mistakes do happen, notwithstanding they're professionals, but at the end of the day, the players, that is, were able to retrieve and be able to transition the ball very smoothly, seamlessly and effortlessly to the other end of the ground. And that was the most pleasing part. Okay, now I'll just take a minute to sort of zoom out of this thing. Okay, so back to me. That was great. So great even contribution, and look, even you could forgive and forget a couple of errors, like pushing the backs, dubious calls from the umpires, but look, that's part and parcel of the game. But fumbles and all, because the redemption was excellent, and it was a good redemption of 43 points against a side like Essendon. Though they're rebuilding, we all know where they're at with their list and journey going forward. They're not a side you could easily put away. Okay, they're not a side you could easily You might jump out of the blocks, but they will fight. They've got their captain, who's their no arguments. I was going to say argument, but unarguably their best player in that team, Zach Merritt. No, if there's no Zach Merritt, there's no Essendon competitive way of playing. I'm being very transparent about that. So, yeah, they had a bit of youth, but they did fight it out. I mean, when I had my tea break in the cricket sport yesterday, Saints were only up by 8 points. So Essendon were pushing, they were coming, but I think what really was the deciding factor was the third and fourth quarter breakouts. Premiership quarters, they call them. St Kilda really started flexing their muscles to show who they really are with their brand of footy. And that became a little bit more, too much for Essendon. But all in all, I thought it was a good performance. It was not a performance that was going to be walk in the park. I knew that before the first bounce of the ball. But, good teams will just find a way to try and skip away later in the game. And I thought the Saints did that, okay? I have some key takeaway points for this game, okay? Some key takeaway points I have found for the game are this. Nasai the Messiah was literally everywhere. So like I said earlier, it may have sounded like the game was very Nasai focused, but it wasn't. And I know it's easy to say that because he was all over the ground, the ball was to him, he did a lot of bullet passes to guys like Liam Ryan and all that when he was passed the ball nicely, but he was there everywhere just playing his role, to be honest, for the team. But it had to be supported by other players too. And if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have won, despite his 4 goals, okay? Higo, or Jack Higgins, was the main catalyst in that forward line, okay? Small forward, doesn't matter. He literally, held the fort very nicely yesterday. Of course, he was supported by, Naz and, Cooper Sharma and Mitch Owens, but if it wasn't for his 4 goals, yeah, you never know. And one thing, guys, Jack Higgins, whilst he always bobs up with a couple of goals every week, he always plays well against Essendon. I'll never forget, last year, he played well. The year before, he kicked 3 or 4. In 2023, I went with my wife to their 150th game anniversary, St Kilda versus Essendon MCG, and we were out of the blocks early. We won, and Higo and Butler's 4 goals each was the real difference. That really decided the game. Higgins, the point is, he always plays well against Essendon. Something about him that when it comes to Essendon, he always puts his best foot forward, as he does in other games. But Essendon versus Essendon always happens to be a standout. Number 3, Jack McRae, I think is slowly hitting his form of early 2025. We all saw last year when we were starting slowly out of the blocks, he always got 30, 40 disposals and was all over the ground like Naz is now. I thought he's regained that a bit nicely yesterday. Kicked a goal as well, which is terrific. Beautiful kick, out of pressure, out of nowhere, and snapped it through. But I thought he was fantastic, to be very honest. Okay, so if he keeps that up and provides support to the midfield coming through, nothing like it. It will be a very dangerous midfield to win the battle against, to be honest. Last one, the form line in the last 2 practice games. Although it's practice, guys, practice gives you an idea of how much belief you can afford to have for the season. And I felt the last 2 games, although no disrespect to Essendon, although it was against a rebuilding side, don't forget we played a practice game against Gold Coast, who are a team who are expected to contend for top 4 this year. So the form the last 2 weeks gives Saints fans exactly a lot to believe for the upcoming season and for the real deal starting next week against Collingwood, who have been a powerhouse side for quite some time. So big game next week, guys. Get down to it if you can, if you've got tickets. I know it's a sellout being at the MCG, but Collingwood supporters will always pack the MCG, there's no doubt about it, whether it's their home or away game. Massive game. This is the reason. It's a great time to have good form because they're going to come up against a team who have been a powerhouse for some time. And look, St Kilda are not that fearful of Collingwood. I know last year they fell short, but the year before they beat Collingwood at the G in Spud's game when nobody gave them a chance. So very doable, very good chance. And this was a St Kilda side that didn't have TDK, no Jack Silvani, no Sam Flanders, and no Liam Ryan. Now, Collingwood are facing a St Kilda side with those 4 acquisitions. Okay, so bring it on. It's going to be a very good game. Can't wait. It's going to be a very enthralling contest. I don't expect it to be a blowout either way. But if it is what it is. But looking forward to it. I'll be going with my wife, so hope to see you all there. And yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your last literally footy-free weekend, to be very honest, those practice games, because next week the festive season of AFL really kickstarts all the way to September, and it's going to be packed. So, yeah, take care of yourselves. Please subscribe to this channel. And feel free to circulate the link of my channel to everybody else whom you know might be interested. The more subscribers, the better. Just hit the subscribe button. It's very easy. And yeah, please feel free to comment on your thoughts for this video and previous videos, even upcoming videos of mine going forward. The next video I would like to do is a preview of the Collingwood game, probably later this week. So you'll get another recording from me, and of course a review of that game sometime next week. Okay, next Sunday is the game against Collingwood at 7:20 at the MCG, so it'll be the Saints home game, double to the G. And yeah, take care of yourselves, guys. Have a lovely rest of the weekend, and I'll speak to you soon later. Thanks. Bye bye.